Hello, I'm Mike Gordon. Welcome to Perfect Playthrough, where our objective is to accomplish everything the game has to offer. And today we will be taking a look at the culmination of all my hard work during this year's Groundhog Grind, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Hope you're all ready for this, because I've been meaning to cover this game for a long time now. As far back as 2022 to be more precise. But other projects like Final Fantasy 6 and 7 just kept getting in the way. And I had to keep pushing this game back year after year after year. But now that my schedule's freed up, I am finally ready to accept Mike Tyson's challenge. Mike is waiting for me, so let's not keep him any longer. Let's get started. Perfect playthrough conditions are simple. Go 14-0 by 14 knockouts. And given just how difficult this game can get, especially in the late game, my aim is to show and teach simple and consistent strategies on how to get through each of the 14 fighters. Strategies even a beginner can quickly pick up on and develop in order to help get through this game a lot faster. Take our first fight, Glass Joe, as an example. He's a French pansy who we can knock out in only a single punch. All we have to do is wait until the 40-second mark when he backs away, and then throw a gut punch the instant he gets close. Time it right, you'll knock him down in record time. Literally. This world record is so easy that speedrun.com won't even take submissions anymore. The only question is, did we get the 42 flat or the 42.25? Because 42 flat is the record. Yes, tied the world record. Easy. On to the next fight. Starting with Von Kaiser, every fight going forward will put up a bit of a fight. Still, I have since come up with a plan to deal with them rather consistently, and even a beginner can pull it off. To start, I snuck in 2 hooks to the face, then when he shakes his head a third time, I dodge and rapid fire him for another 5 punches, 7 total. I snuck in a couple more hooks, gained 2 stars out of the equation, then dodged when he shook his head again. I stunned him with a hook, and then buffered up a star punch to knock him down automatically. He gets up at the count of 1, meaning a star punch will knock him down automatically. I snuck in another hook for yet another star, then I dodged Von Kaiser's uppercut before buffering yet another star punch. Regardless of the count, he'll get back up with very little health remaining. All I needed to do was dodge his uppercut and buffer my final star punch for the TKO. A much more sophisticated fight than the ones from days 2 and 3 of the Groundhog Grind, but an easy and consistent strategy once you get a handle on the controls. But now, it is time to take on the champion of the minor circuit, Piston Honda himself. And unlike Von Kaiser, Piston Honda will actively go to great lengths to block you. So the keys to beating him and beating him quickly and consistently are the misdirects. Basically, get him to put his guard up or down so he can hit the area he's not protecting. Every hit you sneak in will gift you with a star automatically. Fully stocked on stars, I buffer my first star punch and restock another. I dodge his hook shot, hooking him right back before buffering another 2 star punches. I dodge his uppercut, hook him again, and send him down with another star punch. He gets back up on the count of 1, which means a single star punch will knock him down. So I hook him for a star and then buffer a star punch to send him down a second time. He gets back up and I misdirect 3 consecutive gut punches for 3 stars, buffering the first 2 right away. I dodge his hook and send him down for the final time with another star punch. And that's all there is to it, really. I mean, sure, playing it yourself, it may seem like a pretty advanced technique, but it's not that difficult to pull off. And even if you can't pull off the misdirects, that's okay as well. It'll simply take a little longer to beat them, that's all. But learning it here will make the late game that much easier to navigate. So give it a go if you're interested. But with that, we have officially conquered the minor circuit, but we still have a long way to go before we can reach Tyson. For now, we need to get ourselves pumped and ready for the major circuit, and these guys aren't exactly pushovers. Sure, they're not difficult per se, but they each introduce a puzzle element that requires that you figure out the answer. Once you know what to do, however, these fights are a cakewalk. Here's our first pass key. Meaning if you get stuck, just type this in and you'll start right back at the start of the major circuit. Our first opponent is Flamenco, and if you know what you're doing, he's the easiest fight in the game besides Glass Joe. You see, Flamenco is the only fighter in the game that will remain in a defensive state at all times. The second you punch him, he'll block and immediately counterattack with an uppercut. So buffer left on the D-pad to get out of the way, and then proceed to wail on him, rotating between left and right hooks in rhythm. This will keep him in a permanent stun loop in which he cannot break out from, so keep it going back and forth until you knock him down. This is the first fight in the game to make the distinction between left and right punches, and it certainly won't be the last, so commit it to memory. Anyways, as soon as he gets back up, he'll immediately uppercut, so dodge and pummel him with right hooks until he goes down. If you knock him down twice in under a minute and without taking any damage, Flamenco will stay down for the count and not get back up again. Flamenco is one of 4 fighters in the game that can be beaten in round 1 via knockout, alongside Glass Joe of course. And our next fight will not just be our third such fight, but the only one in the game that can't be beaten in any other way. Meet King Hippo, a character that guards his obvious weak spot like the plague. And the only way to get him to let down his guard is with a hook to his mouth after he opens it. And by waiting until he opens his mouth before starting the match, we can manipulate when he opens his mouth the first and third times. Here's the first mouth open, so I'm gonna jab at his stomach 9 times, cause that's the most I can do before he blocks it. And oh wait, here's the second peeper! And now I just need him to open his mouth a 3rd time. Luckily, thanks to my pre-battle RNG manipulation, I got it right away. And luckily for us, no matter how good or bad we do, all you have to do is pummel his stomach 3 or 4 times to knock him down, and the fight will be over. He won't ever be able to get back up. Ever. So yeah, while he can be annoying to fight, he again isn't really that difficult. But the next fight, oh man, did this guy give me problems early on in the grind. Took me 3 days to bring him down, and it turned out the solution is pitifully easy. The jewel on his turban flashes every 7 seconds. Hook him then, and you'll get a star out of it. Do this 3 times, then buffer 2 star punches for a ton of damage. His jewel will flash a split-second later, so hook him then for another star. Watch his turban carefully. Once it flashes, hook him for a 5th star. Wait about 5 or 6 seconds before buffering a star punch. That way, it'll connect just as the jewel flashes, doing just enough extra damage to knock him down. If you knock Great Tiger down in under a minute, he'll get back up on a 1 count. Both times, as a matter of fact. So buffer both of your remaining star punches to knock him down lickety-split. And just like that, we have completely trivialized what I once thought to be a frustrating opponent. As I said before, once you figure out the trick to beating these guys, getting through the major circuit becomes real easy. But we still have to fight the champion of the circuit, and despite being the only fight in the game that I first tried during the Groundhog Grind, he's actually far from easy. Now we need to take into consideration each phase of the fight going forward. For example, Bald Bull will spend the first 20 seconds rolling his fists around, preparing to attack you. To navigate this phase, time your hooks to his rolling punches. Whenever you nab a star, buffer a star punch, rinse, repeat until he goes down the first time. Do this fast enough and you'll have time to nab another star or 2 as we transition over to phase 2. He always starts this phase off by launching 3 right hooks. For those first 2 hooks, just get out of the way and launch a barrage of hooks for extra damage. After your second set of rapid punches, buffer star punch during Bald Bull's full second delay. From here on out, Bald Bull will start to mix things up a bit. Here I got the good pattern where he switches over to uppercuts. If that's the pattern you get after the star punch, just dodge and rapid punch until he either goes down or switches over to either his rolling punches or more hook shots. Once he gets back up, he'll start the second phase all over again from the very beginning. That means 3 hook shots before mixing up his toolkit again. So empty out your star reserves and repeat the same tactics as before, depending on whether he hooks, uppercuts, or rolls with the punches. Bald Bull is our first truly random fight in the game, but once you memorize the strategies and what to do for each of his stances, he becomes much easier to handle. And with that, we've punched our ticket to the World Circuit. Having said all that, the World Circuit is where the game really takes it to a whole nother level in terms of difficulty. Everybody hits faster and harder, provide fewer and shorter windows to retaliate, and they tank hits like crazy. And although our first two opponents do have cheap, effective methods to get past them rather quickly, it still requires quite a bit of timing to pull off. But it is much faster, easier, and more consistent than simply battling them straight up. Just be sure to put that passkey to good use as we take on our first of 3 rematches of the game. Piston Honda 2. He largely plays the same as before, but faster and tighter. You ain't beating this guy using the same strategies as before, and I'm mostly just performing expert strats for the sake of showing off. Nothing you see here is relevant save for one thing. At the 1 minute mark, Piston Honda will drop back to perform a desperation move. Time your jab just right and you'll knock him down instantly, and he won't get back up. And although it is a tight 4-frame window, this is by far the fastest, easiest, and most consistent method of dealing with him. He's the first fight of the World Circuit anyway, so if you miss your timing, just put in your latest passkey and try again. Piston Honda 2 is the 4th and final fight in the game that can be taken out by the count in round 1. In a way, it could be argued that this makes him even easier the second time around, making him the only such rematch with such a distinction. And considering that you'll probably have to start the World Circuit over many times before you can finally beat it, you'll be gaining a ton of practice on this guy to be sure. And the same can be said about our next opponent, Popinski. The strategy is simple. He'll always start by preparing 2 left hooks. Right hook him both times for at least 1 free star. Gotta be right hooks too, or you'll whiff with your left. Then press and hold down to get your guard up. Hopefully Popinski will duck down, prepare an uppercut. Wait a full second before letting go to get him stuck. Buffer a jab for another star and repeat this step immediately after. Then buffer a star punch to knock him down. You repeat the strategy twice more and you'll win by TKO. Basically, the aim is to get Popinski off balance so that a star punch can knock him down. And by repeating the same strategy over and over again, he becomes insanely easy and consistent. Sure, he can psych you out from time to time by doing hooks instead of uppercuts, but eventually, he will charge an uppercut, so just dodge and parry his hooks until he finally does one, and then resume your strategy. Still, the odds are on your side with this one, as he's most likely to follow 2 hooks with 2 uppercuts each time. But with that, we are done with Popinski, and now we can resume with our next rematch, Bald Bull 2. Like with Piston Honda 2, we won't be able to sneak any hook shots before his rolling punches, and as such, we need to keep an eye out for any openings that we can find and take whatever hits that we can make. The most obvious is that now, Bald Bull will occasionally fidget a bit, especially at the start of Phase 2. Punch him then to get a star. The main objective of this fight is to hold on to these stars until we are ready to knock him down. Because now, the only way he can be knocked down is with either a star punch or by hitting him during his desperation move, which he'll perform past the 2-minute mark. Try depleting his health in any other way and he'll just regenerate a tiny bit of it back and the fight will continue. Because we knocked him down during Phase 2, he'll get back up and repeat the phase from the very beginning. So strike him in the gut for a free star, then proceed with the rest of the phase as per usual. This time, it's abundantly clear that I won't be able to get another knockdown before the 2-minute mark. So, I'm going to try and save my star punches and instead land a frame-perfect hit on his bull charge desperation move. We don't want to whiff this one. Not only will it cost us a star if we get hit, but it'll also cost us a round 1 victory as well. Anyways, we got the second knockdown, and with 2 stars in the bank, we have a chance. As per usual, Phase 2 will start all over again. This time, after getting another free star from Ball Bull's fidgeting, all we have to do is hook to stun each time, then buffer up a star punch. Ball Bull actively dodges star punches this time, so you need to stun him in order to get them to land. Do this 2 or 3 times and you'll knock him down for the 3rd and final time. No joke, Ball Bull 2 is one of the most frustrating opponents in the entire game. And while the next rematch might not be as hard, that doesn't mean that he's easy. Enter Flamenco 2. First minute 30 of the fight, you'll basically want to repeat exactly what I'm doing right here. Dodge the first jab and unleash a string of right hooks. Then preempt a couple of gut punches for a free star and dodge Don Flamenco's hook. Hook him once to stun, then buffer a star punch. Wait for his next action. If he steps back, dodge, then rapid hook him another 4 times. Preempt 2 straight gut punches for another 2 stars. Dodge his hook, hook him once, then perform another star punch to knock him down. Repeat until we pass the minute 30 mark, but be wary. Don Flamenco is more than capable of mixing it up a bit and can show a preference for hooks over jabs, so keep your eyes open for any surprises. I just happened to get the good pattern both times, and I might manage to do it fast enough to knock him down a second time before the start of Phase 2. At that point, Don Flamenco will fall back to his old defensive roots. Hook him until he decides to counterattack, then dodge. Hook him to the pattern of left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, and so on and so forth. Like last time, this will act as a stun lock in which Don Flamenco cannot break out of. Repeat until you've knocked him down for the 3rd and final time, and you'll win. Again, not an easy fight by any means, it just got a good Phase 1 pattern, that's all. But even so, these guys are incredibly quick and will require a ton of practice before you can finally make it past them. But now, on to the final 3, and our first opponent, Mr. Sandman, is arguably the toughest fight in the game besides Mike Tyson. He moves quick, hits hard, takes hits like a champ, and doesn't give out any stars whatsoever during rounds 1 and 2. As such, beating him in round 1 is damn near impossible for anyone but the best players. As such, my recommended strategy is to simply damage him until he is left with only a sliver of health remaining. Then run out the clock and finish him off in round 2. In Phase 1, all he does is these rolling punches in which you can only land a single punch in between. 50 seconds in, Sandman will start doing hooks. Dodge, then hook him once to stun, then repeatedly gut punch. Buffer another hook to manipulate when and where he'll throw his next hook. He'll dodge, then attempt a hook of his own in that general area. If he attacks from your right, hit him on the right. If on the left, hook him on the left. At around the 1:30 mark, be on the lookout for Sandman's desperation move, the Sandman Express. He'll perform 3 uppercuts in a row and you'll have to dodge each of them. Now I was supposed to hook him once, then put him into a stun lock, but I immediately knocked him down by mistake. But keep this technique of his in mind for the second round. If you do happen to knock him down by mistake like I did, just focus on whittling him back down to a sliver of health, then dodge until time runs out, and round 1 comes to an end. A tip I'd recommend is delaying the 3rd gut punch for a split second after dodging one of his hooks. If you do that, you'll deal just a tiny bit more damage. And if you can get the timing down throughout the entire round, a round 1 TKO is possible, but it is insanely difficult. Personally, unless you're at a world record pace, I'd recommend just waiting until the second round. Just need to dodge these, and just like that, round 1 comes to an end. Help, Doc! Join the Nintendo Club today, Mac. I think you're gonna have a nightmare tonight. Actually, we are all officially set up for success here in round 2. All we need to do is buffer a hook, dodge, and another hook for the first knockdown. And every time Sandman gets back up, he'll start with a short or long delay before performing his Dreamland Express. Dodge all 3 of his hook shots, hook to stun, and stun lock him in place by repeatedly left jabbing him right in the gut until he either goes down or he recoils and breaks free. If the latter, then resume where you left off in round 1 and whittle him down until he gets knocked down again. While it's nowhere near as easy or automatic as I make it appear, his Dreamland Express is the key to bringing him down in round 2. Just note that his delays can vary in length and Sandman will only give you a split instant, not even a split second, to anticipate when he'll perform it. In fact, if you do get hit by it, it's basically all over. You'll probably have to start the entire world circuit all over again from the very beginning. Not that I have to worry about that since I just got the 3rd knockdown this round, which means we've beaten Sandman by TKO. And while none of these World Circuit fights provide any passkeys, and losing to just one of them means starting over from the very beginning, the reigning champion of the World Circuit is the lone exception to this rule, but I'll get to the reason why in a bit later. This may prove counterintuitive, but I'm not going to bother giving you a play-by-play of the Super Macho Man fight here. And the reason for this is that the overall script for Super Macho Man is one of the most erratic in the entire game. But I will give you a few tips on how to earn stars off of him, and I'm going to start from the easiest to hardest. The first and easiest way to earn stars off him is by anticipating his hooks and left hooking him in advance. And yes, you've got to left hook him for much of the same reasons you had to right hook Soda Popinski. The second is by listening to his attacks and waiting until the very moment that the sound dies off before hooking him. You time it right and you'll earn a star. But if you're a little early, then at least you can rapid fire a ton of hooks for a ton of damage. The third and most difficult method is through frame-perfect guard manipulations and hitting him with misdirected punches. But Macho Man's really quick, so the best time to attempt this strategy is during a delay, specifically at the start of round 1 or before his desperation moves. Speaking of which, you just saw it in action, but whenever he gets back up from a knockdown, he'll delay for a couple of seconds before charging up anywhere from 3 to 7 spinning punches, all of which will be one-hit knockdowns. And the key to figuring out how many spins he'll perform is the length and sound of his wound-ups. If it cuts abruptly, you're getting 3 punches. But if it sounds like that wound up all the way, you're getting 7. Dodge all of these punches and you're home free to either rapid punch him or you can get a free star punch off of him. Typically you get 2 free star punches, then he'll start avoiding them altogether, even going out of his way to break out of a stun in order to dodge it. But after a spinning punch, he won't be able to avoid them at all, and that's how you handle Macho Man. Now a bit of trivia. Super Macho Man was the original final boss of this game. That passkey at the bottom of the paper, it's actually to rematch Macho Man with your current record as a reward for beating the game. Then, when Nintendo decided to sign on Tyson to endorse this game, they added in the extra dream fight with him afterwards, but never bothered changing the passkey on the paper to take you to him. He still does have his own passkey, thank God, but you'll have to look it up for yourself, and when you put it in, your record will read 0-2, signifying to you that losing to Tyson is an automatic game over, regardless of your record. Phase 1 of the fight, he'll start with uppercuts that'll knock you down right away. To start, Tyson will delay 5 full seconds before performing his first uppercut, followed by an uppercut with a split-second delay. Afterwards, the length of his uppercuts will vary, with the full second delay often given to 1 or 2 of his next 3 hits, mixed in with a bunch of pre-buffered uppercuts. Just past the 30-second mark, he may perform an 8-second delay, which effectively starts the entire phase over again, as if someone had just gone back up from a knockdown. Halfway through round 1, he'll change out his one-shot uppercuts for hooks. He'll always blink a split second before hooking in whatever direction he happens to blink at. But using his blinks as cues to dodge will not only mean missing your chance at hooking him right back, but could possibly leave you wide open to gain hit later on. This may not matter much if he's only a punch away from a knockdown and you're just looking to dodge your way to round 2. But if you're still looking to will him down to a sliver, you'll need to be able to anticipate these hooks. The bell's about to ring, so I'll tell you more about these hooks a bit later. Fight him away! Hey, is this kid a joke? Where's the real challenger? Funny, cause I'm kicking your ass right now, which is no joke, don't get me wrong, cause he's still the toughest fight in the game bar none. Anyways, first 30 seconds is all dodging. First 2 jabs will come a split second after another, then the remaining 8 punches will come in a rhythm of 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and 2-1. Basically what I did was count the number of times Tyson shuffled his feet on the ground. Afterwards, as the clock hits 31 seconds, I dodged and hooked him for our first knockdown of the round. And now we are in phase 2, start with at least 3 blinking hooks. In round 2, Tyson will start producing stars, so when anticipating his hooks, try to aim for a frame-perfect star to heading to his first delay. These delays signify that Tyson's about to perform uppercuts, so buffer star punch if able, then dodge and rapid fire until he goes down. Generally, the key to a round 2 TKO will hinge on your performance at the minute 30 mark, but I'm going to end up with a couple stars before then, and I'll wind up knocking him down for the final time before he even gets his chance to perform his desperation move. What's supposed to happen is that at the minute 30 mark, Tyson would drop his guard and blink. Hit him and then will net you a star, and if you're insanely lucky, an instant knockdown. Great fighting! You are tough, Mac. I've never seen such finger speed before. Anyways, after the blink, he'd immediately hit you with 4 instant hooks in a row, 3 of which you have to block before dodging the 4th. A full second later, you'd be dodging 2 uppercuts, counterattacking both with rapid hooks of your own, until he's weak enough to knock down with a single star punch. And that's literally how the fight was supposed to go, but I wound up beating the game a little too quickly. Anyways, that's like Tyson's Punch-Out for you. A terrific game experience, to be sure. It took me 25 days of constant grinding in order to get through all the fights and actually get good enough to make it through to Tyson and beat him in a single go. I really enjoy this game. It's probably one in my top 5 favorite NES games of all time. It's not, I don't think I would like it better than, say, Legend of Zelda or Tecmo Super Bowl or maybe even Castlevania's 1 or 3 for that matter. I don't know. I have to double check my top 10 NES games list, and especially my top 5 to be sure. But whatever, this is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I hope you enjoyed this perfect playthrough. It's been a ton of work working on this game. And please show your support by leaving a like, comment, share, and subscribe on my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon signing out.